Job design, job redesign. Purposes, tasks, duties, and responsibilities of a job. Job design or job redesign is the thinking through the purposes, tasks, duties, and ultimately the responsibilities of a job for the purpose of business effectiveness, parentheses, profitability and growth, and parentheses, and human satisfaction. Higher-level employees will think through their own jobs and ultimately be able to articulate exactly what they are responsible for. Such employees will manage themselves. Human resources' role in job design or redesign with higher-level employees is asking questions. With lower-level employees, job design or redesign becomes much more difficult and usually much less effective. The employee who says, quote, "just tell me what to do and I'll do it," end quote, is increasingly less valuable to the organization. Therefore, job design or redesign has evolved over the years, and what job design or redesign means to an organization depends greatly on the level of employees sought out and sustained. Job design or job redesign is thinking through the purposes, tasks, duties, and ultimately the responsibilities of a job. Organization life cycle. Introduction, growth, maturity, decline, death. Organizations often model life. The cycle of life starts at birth, then we grow, mature, age or decline, and finally die. There may be any number of different names for each of the phases of the organization life cycle, but it is a typical pattern of life we know on Earth. Organizations have the potential to live forever, but only if they are passed responsibly from generation to generation, from and to the people charged with running them. The life cycle repeats itself within ongoing organizations. The product life cycle is the same as the overall organizational life cycle, only the product life cycle may be shorter and repeat itself many times through a multitude of products. Walmart, for example, has built the S-curve, parentheses, the logistics curve, and parentheses, from calculus into its information system to model the introduction, growth and acceleration, and then taper off of products to know when to change out products on its shelf to maximize valuable shelf space. An umbrella corporation or parent company may manage its business units in the same way according to the organization life cycle. The organization life cycle is introduction, growth, maturity, decline, and death. Six Sigma. Improvement guided by an empowered layer of employees. Six Sigma is a statistical method for improvement which focuses on removing defects from the manufacturing process. Six Sigma empowers another layer of special players in the improvement process. Employees train and become proficient and are labeled with names like Black Belt, Green Belt, or Master Black Belt. Six Sigma was developed by Motorola in 1985. Total Quality Management, TQM, is another statistical quality improvement program, but is organization-wide. Total Quality Management was developed by Edwards Deming and was embraced by the Japanese in the 1970s. and is largely credited for their rise to becoming a nation of quality manufacturers. Six Sigma came along after TQM. Six Sigma is a continuous quality improvement process conducted by an empowered layer of employees within an organization who receive special training and are allowed to move more fluidly within the organizational chart. Environmental scanning. Analyzing external factors which potentially threaten plans. Environmental scanning is the process of analyzing external factors that may threaten the plans of an organization. The environmental scanning question might be, quote, what is happening outside of our organization which poses a threat to our goals and plans, end quote. Some examples may include a shift in the workforce, which may make it more difficult to hire needed personnel, or a shift in politics or regulations that pose a threat to current business. Jim Collins coined the term productive paranoia in describing business leaders who used constant concern of impending external threat to mold, create, and develop their organization to deal with such potential threats. Nicholas Taleb, in his book, The Black Swan, proposed that impending doom is guaranteed. We just don't know when it is coming, so we might as well be prepared all the time. Environmental scanning is the equivalent of trying to be disaster prepared. Environmental scanning is the process of analyzing external factors which have the potential to threaten company goals or plans. Antonyms: internal scanning. Related words: strategic choice. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Theory of human motivation. Abraham Maslow in 1943 presented his theory of human motivation. Maslow called the levels of his pyramid or hierarchy psychological, safety, belongingness, and love, esteem, self-actualization, and self-transcendence. The levels translate into the lowest level: breathing, food, water, sex, sleep, homeostasis, excretion. Level 2, security of body, employment, resources, morality, the family, health, property. Level 3, friendship, family, sexual intimacy. Level 4, self-esteem, confidence, achievement, respect of others, respect by others. Level 5, morality, creativity, spontaneity, problem solving, lack of prejudice, acceptance of facts. From a human resources perspective, it might be easy to see that Level 2 includes employment. Level 3 includes friendship, which is often found at work, as most people spend more time with colleagues than family members. Level 4 has a great deal to do with the workplace, which may or may not include self-esteem, confidence, achievement, respect of and by others. The workplace may or may not contain every aspect of Level 5 also. Maslow's hierarchy of needs contains aspects of human motivation and applies to the organization because companies can provide many of these needs. NLRB v. J. Weingarten, Inc., 1975. Right to union steward present during management inquiries. NLRB v. J. Weingarten, Inc., 1975, was a case argued before the Supreme Court in which a ruling was made that in unionized companies, union members have the right to have a union steward present during management inquiries if they have a reasonable belief that the inquiry may result in disciplinary action. The ruling does not include non-union members. NLRB v. J. Weingarten, Inc., 1975, established union members' right to have a union steward present during management inquiries. Human Resources Outsourcing, HR Outsourcing. Hiring an outside company to handle human resources. In general, outsourcing is when a business hires help from outside the company to do work that is usually done within the business as core functions. The reasons for outsourcing include a lack of in-house resources, an expense structure within the company that is higher than an outside company, or a lack of expertise within the company to handle the work. When it comes to human resources, payroll is one of the most popular outsourced functions because it has become commoditized and therefore simple to outsource. Other functions like hiring can be partially outsourced by using a recruiting firm to pre-select job candidates with the final decision still made by the company after performing its own review of candidates. Outsourcing can at first seem like a silver bullet, but once outsourcing is invested in, the loss of control can make many of the benefits seem like negatives. Switching back and forth between outsourcing and in-house can be difficult. HR outsourcing is hiring an outside company to perform human resource functions that are normally handled in-house. Ledbetter v. Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, 2007. 180-day rule upheld by case, correct by new. Correct by new 2009 law. In the case Ledbetter v. Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, 2007, Lily Ledbetter worked alongside of male co-workers for years, not realizing she was making substantially less. When it came time to retire, since retirement benefits are based on pay, Lily received substantially less than her retired male co-workers. At one point, Lily asked her retired co-workers how they could survive on so little retirement pay as she was struggling. When they replied with how much more they were making, Lily filed suit for gender pay discrimination. The company responded with the rule that under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, an employer cannot be sued for race or gender pay discrimination if the claims are based on decisions made by the employer 180 days ago or more. Since Lily was retired, the pay inequities were from years ago, so she was apparently out of luck. The passage of the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act in 2009, however, allowed Lily to sue for gender pay inequities. The case Ledbetter versus Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, 2007, is about being able to pursue a race or gender discrimination case beyond the 180-day period specified in Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. The case said the 180 days had to be followed. The law, corrected the statute of limitations problem. Human Resources Generalist, HR Generalist. HR professional working on business strategy. The profession of human resources is still emerging and expanding. Traditionally, HR workers only dealt with specific HR functions. For example, an HR specialist is a professional in the HR department with full knowledge of complex issues like hiring, firing, benefits, and compliance. The HR generalist, on the other hand, may not participate directly in specific HR functions, but use his or her expertise in HR to develop business strategy, structure, and competitive strategy. Thanks to Jim Collins, there is an increasing belief in American business that people, the right people, are the key to business success. An HR generalist uses HR knowledge to participate in business development and direction on a more macro scale. Synonyms: human resource generalist. Antonyms: HR specialists. Meritor Savings Bank v. Vinson, 1986. Hostile work environment is violation of Civil Rights Act. The question of Meritor Savings Bank v. Vinson, 1986 was, quote, "Is a hostile work environment a form of unlawful discrimination under the Civil Rights Act of 1964? Or is the act limited to, quote, tangible economic discrimination, end quote, in the workplace, end quote?" The findings of the court is that, yes, a hostile work environment is unlawful discrimination and establish the plaintiff's burden of proof as 1. The hostile work environment was severe or pervasive, created a hostile or abusive work environment, was unwelcome, and was based on the plaintiff's gender. Meritor Savings Bank v. Vinson, 1986, established that a hostile environment, sexual harassment, is a violation of Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964.